Welcome to a new video lesson. In today's lesson, I will analyze a part of The Good Person of Szechwan by Bertolt Brecht. So, let's begin. The setting of scene 2 of The Good Person of Szechwan is the Tobacconist, that is the shop. Okay, so the time has elapsed, and what we will find here is that in comparison to Aristotelian or the classical plays, we see that the unity of time is not maintained here. Whatever. So the Tobacconist, the scene shows that the bodies, the stage direction shows that the bodies are lying everywhere. What are the bodies? Who are these bodies? Who are these people? These people are the family of 8 who had taken shelter from Shen Teh, okay, in her shop. So the lamp is still burning. So it is morning, but it is the lamp is still burning. And a knock. They hears a knock. The woman who was there, who entered the house that day, asks. When she hears a knock, she raises herself and asks for Shen Teh. Okay, and asks that somebody is knocking. Where has the girl got to? So she is asking for Shen Teh, where she has gone. The nephew jokingly says that she has gone for breakfast, and it is on her cousin. That means it will be paid by her cousin, and they laugh. So the woman laughs and slouches to the door. So they are making fun of her. Right, they are making fun of her. They are making fun at the expense of the lie that they have said into the carpenter and to the landlady who had came down to ask for the rent, and any person who can who be a guarantor. Okay, so what we see here is that a young gentleman enters, followed by the carpenter. The young gentleman says, "I am her cousin." So for the audience, they still don't know who this person is. But for your convenience, I am saying that this young gentleman is none other than Shen Teh herself. She has put on a mask. She has put on a mask to act like, to impersonate the imaginary character that this family of 8 has created. The imaginary character of Shen Teh's cousin. Okay, that has been said as an excuse that Shen Teh's her cousin will come and he will pay the debts of Carpenter. Okay, so the Carpenter is now entering behind this cousin, whose name is Shui Ta. So this impersonating, or the dressing, the cross-dressing, what can you say, has always been a trope in Elizabethan and comedies, has always been used in Elizabethan comedies. But in this parable play, this cross-dressing, this transgressing of the identity, the gender identity, helps one elevate from one's position, from one's social position, where one is subjugated to, the place where that person is in a position where she is being constantly taken advantage of. So this cross-dressing is not just for fun, it is not for fun. Okay, it is for disguise, but it is not for making fun. It is in a sense to survival of the fittest. Okay, comes into question over here. So in order to survive, you have to be fit. In order to be fit, this person needs to be a shrewd one, who will not give in to the demands, who will not give in to the plans of scheming people who are after getting advantage of others. Okay, so this this young man enters and says that he is Shui Ta's cousin. The woman of the family of 8, falling from the crowd. What did you say? You were? My name is Shui Ta. The family shaking one another awake. So they have fallen from the sky. They are shocked. Her cousin, but it was all a joke. She has got no cousin. So that was actually not a joke. They joked among themselves, but it was a plan hatched by them. It was a plan by them in order to escape the demands, escape the monetary demands, escape the situations that was created. Okay, so it was a lie. The nephew: if you are the hostess' cousin, mister, get some breakfast right away, will you? So the nephew is of another air. With the air that he has, he says that if this person is the hostess, that is Shui Ta's cousin, then he should bring the breakfast for them. Shui Ta, turning out the lamp, says, the first customers will be arriving any moment. Please be quick, get dressed so that I can open my shop. So what we are seeing here is that he is asserting his own position. He is asserting his power in order to take control of the situation which was going out of hand of Shen Teh. Okay, so what we see here is that not just being the docile one, not just being the simple person will help you in dealing a happy life. It will be much more problematic. It will be rather problematic, because simple people are harmed more by this society, by this crude society. Right, as I gave you the example of straight trees are felled first in the forest, whereas the crooked ones are left, because the straight ones are easy to be cut off and easy to make furniture of. So what we see here is that in order to survive, you have to be a crooked one, a bit crooked. Okay, else others will take benefit of you and leave you after nothing is left of you. Okay, so the man who is also the member of the 8, the family of 8, your shop? I fancy this shop belongs to our friend Shen Teh. Shui Ta shakes his head. What do you mean? Says it's not her shop at all. So they are surprised that as he is saying that this is his shop, that is Shui Ta's shop and not Shen Teh's. Shui Ta, she has been detained. She wishes me to tell you that now I am here, she can no longer do anything for you. So they are asking for Shen Teh, and Shui Ta says that she has said that as she has been detained, as she is living in some other place, she will not be able to help you all. And Shui Ta will be in this place in order to take the charge of this place. The woman is shocked, and the very first thing that comes out of her mouth is that she was such a good person. Right, obviously she was such a good person, she is such a good person. Okay, but it is of this goodness that they have taken advantage of. Okay, she has been a good person and they were taking advantage of her goodness. They were showing that they care for her. They made a lie, they made up a lie that Shui Ta, that her cousin will be arriving and paying all the debts and be the guarantor and everything. But when they were also suggesting, they were also giving her advices that she should be a tough lady and should not let anyone to take advantage of her. But when it came to the principles, when it dealt with this family of 8 taking advantage of her, they were the one who were taking the most advantage out of Shen Teh. Okay, nephew says that don't believe him, go and look for her. The man, and right, we will. He organizes them, and they all try to find her and everything, and hold the fort. The boy can go and find us something to eat. So the young boy who came in late was asked to find something for eating as breakfast. But what you will see here is that they were not after getting a breakfast by paying. You will see that they are planning to get it by stealing. Okay, so grandpa and us will stay here and hold the fort. So they are not leaving this place. They will try to find Shen Teh in order to stay here. And on the other side, the boy will go to the baker's corner and take some of the stuff inside his shirt to bring in. The sister-in-law also says that they don't forget some of those little round cakes. Okay, so as if they are buying it, there is still no inclination that they are stealing it. But the very next line shows that they are planning to steal it, where the man says, but mind the baker does not catch you, and keep clear of the policeman. So he is asking him to steal. Okay, so they are asking the boy to get some stuffs from the baker, and the sister-in-law also reminding him to not to forget the cakes, as if he is going to do the groceries, going to the market to buy something. He is being reminded of, but no. The very next line shows that the man is advising the boy to be sure-footed and take extreme care that the baker does not catch him, and also suggests him to be away from the policeman. Okay, so that the policeman also does not catch him. Okay, the boy nods and goes off. The others get fully dressed. Shui Ta, won't cake stealing damage the reputation of the shop which has given you refuge? So Shui Ta is a person who is moralistic and also is concerned about the business. So is a representative of the capitalist. So he says that he asks them whether this would harm the reputation of the shop, which had helped them during their bad times when they had nowhere to go. The nephew, in return, does not answer the question directly. What does he say? He says that, don't mind, we will soon find her, she will tell him what's what. So they are saying that if Shen Teh is found out, if Shen Teh is found, then she will tell everything. That is, she will allow them to stay here and will allow them to do whatever they like, and Shui Ta's orders won't matter. Okay, exeunt nephew, brother, sister-in-law and niece, everyone exeunt, leaves the shop. The sister-in-law, as he goes, leave us a bit of breakfast. Shui Ta calmly, you won't find her. That is, they won't find the cousin, that is Shen Teh. They won't find Shen Teh. Leave us a bit of breakfast, greets, being unable to make unbounded concessions to the laws of hospitality. But I fear you are too numerous. This is a tobacconist, and it is Miss Shen Teh's livelihood. So what Shui Ta is most concerned about is that Shui Ta says that this is his cousins, that is Shen Teh's livelihood, and these people are after her, on her like a parasite, and taking advantage of her, right? The man says our Shen Teh could never bring herself to such things, that is, to such disgrace of turning the people whom she has given shelter out of the house, out of the shop. Okay, Shui Ta says, you may be right. Yes, she is docile, she is simple, she is a person, she is a kind-hearted person who would never turn these people out, and taking that advantage, they are staying over here. Okay, then Shui Ta turns to the carpenter and says, the unfortunate fact is that the poverty in this city is too much for an individual to correct. Alas, nothing has changed in 11 centuries since a poet wrote that so many poor should suffer from the cold. What can we do to prevent? So what we see here is that there is social conditioning, social picture that has been presented over here, that it has become a normal thing that is presented by the Chinese poet, that the poor people has suffered from cold, and it is of no use. There is no way to prevent them. It is for the weaker sections of society, for the poor rather, the economically poor, to suffer every time in this society. You can see during cyclones, as it is now, you can see during cyclones who are the person who has been the chiefest, who are the person who have survived but have suffered the chiefest. Those people who are living in the Sundarban area or in villages, right? So the poor people are the one who are always suffering, right? So what we see here is that this condition of the Chinese society is a common thing, To bring warmth to a single body is not much use. I wish I had big rug 10,000 feet long, which at one time could cover up every inch of the city. Okay, this poem is called The Big Rug, from 170 Chinese poems by Arthur Wale. Arthur Wale, Waley. So what we see here is that though Shen Teh is not present, Shen Teh's characteristics is still present in Shui Ta. Okay, Shui Ta is a person. We will find that Shui Ta is a person who is not willing to take these people inside his shop. He is turning them out because they are scheming people. They are only after taking advantage. They have no consideration for Shen Teh. But what we will also see here is that Shui Ta is also a considerate person. He wants this poverty to end. They can not just poverty, but the poor people at least to survive and to suffer less. Right? As he quotes the poem, he starts clearing the shop. The carpenter says that he is trying to set a business. And he says that there is a small bill which needs to be settled for the shelves that he has made. Okay, so it is of $1,000. 100 silver dollars. Okay, Shui Ta drawing the bill. Wouldn't you say that 100 silver dollars was rather much? So he is asking that whether this is too high on this extent. The carpenter says that no, it is less. Shui Ta says higher, and the carpenter also says that he has a wife and a family to look after, so it can't be less. Shui Ta says, how many children? The carpenter says 4. Then Shui Ta offers 20 silver dollars. The carpenter laughs at it and says these shelves are of walnut wood. Shui Ta, then take them away. Shui Ta is such a cunning person. He is the alter ego of Shen Teh. The things that Shen Teh cannot do can be done by Shui Ta. Okay, only after putting on the mask. Okay, so if Shen Teh was present, Shen Teh saw the bill yesterday, right? The day Shen Teh saw the bill from Carpenter, but that was deferred, right? So Shen Teh would, in place of that, she might have given the whole money. She was so considerate, she was so simple, she was so lively, you can say, or she was so sympathetic. She was so sympathetic. She would have given $100 after hearing the family, right? But Shui Ta, who is a person who is the person who will not be such gentle one, who will not be such innocent one, is not willing to pay so much, and in return and ask that you have to take 20 silver dollars or you can take the shells back. Okay, Shui Ta says that I can't afford it. I suggest to take your walnut shells away. So Shui Ta suggests that he can, the carpenter can take the walnut shells away. Okay, so what we see here is that Shui Ta is the representative figure of shrewd capitalist society, who is driven by profits But this shrewdness is required in order to save knave Shen Teh. Else, she would be robbed. She would be robbed by these people who are only after making profit at any cost. Okay, so the woman open up to you. She in turn laughs. The woman has not left. She is still present there, and she sees she is making fun. She is having fun at the expense of the carpenter, and says that you can leave if you don't want it. Okay, if you don't want $20 you can take the shells and leave. The carpenter uncertainly, I would like Miss Shen Teh to be faced. She seems to be a decent person, unlike you. So everyone is liking Shen Teh only because she is a person who can be easily made fool of. Okay, she is a gentle person and can easily be made fool of. She would accept anything easily. But this shrewdness that is present within Shui Ta cannot be easily controlled. Okay, Shui Ta, obviously she is ruined. Obviously here refers that it is for her goodness that she is ruined. Obviously they will ask for Shui Ta because it is a goodness that they want, because that goodness can be easily fooled. That goodness can be easily made fun of. That goodness can easily be cheated. Okay, Shui Ta to the man, give him a hand to collect all the things. The carpenter seizes some shelvings and says that you can stack your goods on the floor. It does not matter to me. Shui Ta says to the man, that is the man of the family of 8, to give him help, to help him. The man takes some of the shelvings and takes it to the door with a grin. Here we go, chuck the lot out. The carpenter says that you are after starving my whole family. Shui Ta, let me repeat my offer. You can have $20 to save me stacking my goods on the floor, and you can save your family. The carpenter, 100. Shui Ta looks indifferently out of the window. The man sets about removing the shelves. So what we see here is that Shui Ta is not a person who will be easily fooled, easily fooled by other people, and he is a person, Shui Ta is a person who will not become gentle, who will not be a docile one, who will not be sympathetic for undue reasons. Okay, the carpenter then says that they won't go anywhere else. That is, the shells won't fit anywhere else. The boards had to be cut to size, sir. Shui Ta says, exactly, that's why I can't offer you more than 20. So those both have their own reasons. If the carpenter takes these shells to another place, he won't be able to fit in another place. So taking the shells is of no use for the carpenter. Similar logic is explained from the perspective of Shui Ta, that these shells won't be of any use if they are taken out of this shop. It won't be of any use for him. That's why he is offering only 20. The carpenter, keep the shells and pay me what you like. Shui Ta pays $20 silver. He lays the 2 big coins on the table. The carpenter takes them. The man bringing back the shells, good enough for the lot. And the carpenter exits. the woman says, the man says first, good riddance, that is, it was a good way that you got rid of that carpenter. The woman wiping tears away of laughter. So they are having fun at the carpenter's expense, because he did not have to pay, that Shui Ta did not have to pay $100 silver, and the carpenter was still were demanding that, and after that he only got $20 silver. So at last he says that's the way to deal with his sort. So again, the woman is not considering their part. The woman is not considering the position that she is in, how they were exploiting Shen Teh, right? But here she advises that, or rather comments that this is the way that this kind of people needs to be dealt with, right? These scheming people, these people who are always wanting to take advantage of the people, is always after taking advantage, needs to be dealt with in this manner. So what we see here is that the hypocrisy that is present within this woman. They are also the people who are cheating, right? This family of 8 is also cheating, but they are not considering the fact that they are cheating. Okay, so they are only considering the fact that when the others are doing. Shui Ta, leave here. Yes, seriously, leave here at once. So now the sight of justice also falls on them, as they are nothing more than thieves and parasites who are here to take advantage of Shen Teh. Okay, so the man, what, us? So Shui Ta is also now putting the same treatment and on these people. Okay, these family of 8, he is asking them to leave. The man is surprised. What, us? Shui Ta, you are thieves and parasite. Obviously they are here to take advantage of Shen Teh. The man, it is better not to take any notice of him. No arguing on empty stomach. I wonder where the nipper is. So Shui Ta, I will not have him here with stolen cakes. That the man is waiting for the boy who will be coming with the stolen food items. So Shui Ta says that he won't allow those stolen things in his shop, and he is asking them for the second time to get out, but they remain seated. So Shui Ta, calm once more. He is not a person who will lose his patience, because he knows his tricks, how to deal with these people. So he goes to a policeman, and who was standing very near. He says that he addresses in the policeman and the representative of the district, and says, exchange smiles, and made friends with him. Okay, and talk with him and make friends with him, and says that about his business, about the business that he has opened there, and the police had asked him to come along in order to have some smoke or something. Okay, so the policeman, it certainly does. The woman, don't worry, he will keep away when he sees the copper standing on the door. So they are superstitious. They have the superstitious belief that if copper things are hung on the door, the police won't come Okay, so what we see here is that they are also moving away. They are also um, moving away from the administrative system, especially the police. They know, they have found out the tricks to so-called tricks, but superstitious beliefs. So what we see here is that in background they might have the experiences of police before, and they want to be out of that. Shui Ta, it is says that we consider it high important to be on good terms with the authorities. Obviously, for a businessman, to if a business needs to be run properly, he should be in good terms with the authorities in order to run the business properly, right? The policeman enters. That is a kind of you, sir. Yes. The man softly, he asked him, just the key don't see him. Shui Ta, some guess, distant acquaintance of my cousins, apparently. They have a journey to make. We were just saying goodbye. So, if this kind of things are said, that they were just leaving in front of the police, these people, these police fearing people, will not be able to say anything against it, because if they say anything against it, they will be questioned, right? And if they are questioned, there is high possibility that something might come out. Okay, the man hoarsely, all right, then we will be going. So what do you see? In a few minutes, we see that this person, these two people, the man and the woman of the family of 8, who were not willing to move an inch, is now moving out of the house because of the power, because of the authority that is held within them. This shows your shrewdness will not only help you to sustain, but it should be easy when law and order is in your favor. The capitalists do the same. They keep close contact with law authority in order to satisfy their needs. Okay. Noises from the street cries, stop thief. The policeman, what's that about? The boy appears in the door. So the boy has stolen cakes and rolls, something out of his shirt, and the woman motions him desperately to get out. He turns and tries to go off. The policeman says, you stay here. He catches hold of him. So he catches the boy. Where did you get those cakes from? The boy, over there. The policeman, stolen. The woman, we knew nothing about it. It was the boy's own idea, little wretch. So what do you see again? See again that these people are hypocrites. When they are in trouble, they have sent the boy to steal, right? But when they are in trouble, they are after saving their own skin. They are not saving the boy, but alienating themselves from him. The policeman, Mr. Shui Ta, can you throw any light on this? Shui Ta remains silent. The policeman, right, you all come along to the station with me. Shui Ta says that I am exceedingly sorry that anything of this kind has happened. The woman, he was the boy, go off. So the woman is now trying to blame Shui Ta in order to take advantage of the situation and get Shui Ta involved in this. Shui Ta, who is clever enough, says, I can assure you, officer, that I should hardly have invited you in if I had been wanting to conceal a robbery. Logic, right? So Shui Ta says that if I was a part of the robbery or anticipating any robbery, then I would not have invited a policeman. The policeman says, I quite see. That obviously it has logic. And in taking this person in custody, and he says that he takes the boy in custody, and they get moving. He pushes them out. The grandfather peacefully in the doorway. Hello, exit all except Shui Ta. All move out of the house, of the shop. Okay, so exit all, Shui Ta, enter Mrs. Mitsu, that is the landlady. Okay, Mitsu says that, so you are the cousin, and Chip digs, the baker on the corner. I know all about it, you see. So she says that she knows everything from on the very first day the police came and everything. Shui Ta, I do see people have speaking against my cousin. They have blamed her for being hungry. She has a bad name for living in poverty. So the poor people in this society are not easily trusted, and they need a guarantor in order for her to run the shop. They talk about all the things, and the tenants here aren't paying to live under the same roof as a sort of a person. And so Mitsu says that she has to pay 6 months rent in advance, that is $200 silver. Okay, so Shui Ta says that $200 silver, that is too much, and would need some help, that this is not out of the blue that he can arrange. Mitsu says that you should have thought of that sooner. Shui Ta says that, Mitsu, please take a heart. I realize that my cousin made an unforgivable mistake of giving shelter to some unfortunates, but she will learn. So he is making excuse on Shen Teh's behalf, so that the advance, the 6 months advance, is not asked for. But Mitsu is a person who says that $200 silver in advance, or she goes back to the street where she came from. So $200 silver is needed, else she won't be allowed to run the shop. The policeman, don't let me disturb you, Mr. Shui Ta. Mitsu says, oh, the policeman very seemingly remarkable interested in this shop. So she is a skeptic lady who is not willing to have a bad reputation of the building. So she asked the policeman here already, as in today's world also, if policeman comes to any house, everyone looks with suspicion that something might have happened, right? The policeman says, Mr. Shui Ta did us a service, and I have come in the name of the police to thank him. So here it has been of great effect that Shui Ta had helped the policeman in order to catch hold of that person. Means, well, that's no affair of mine. Good morning, gentlemen. And she leaves by stating that was the term of contract, that she needs to pay $200 silver, that is 6 months rent in advance, in order to stay. Shui Ta, good morning, Mrs. Mitsu. The policeman, have you having trouble with Mrs. Mitsu? Shui Ta says that she is demanding the rent in advance, as she does not think my cousin is respectable. Okay, so this is a condition of the society. This is practiced over here too, over in this time too, that the person who is not trustworthy, the demands are asked for, the demand and increases, right? The policeman, and can't you raise the money? But surely Shui Ta remains silent. But Shui Ta, surely someone like you ought to able to get credit. So a person, Shui Ta is a believable person to the policeman. So the policeman says that anyone like you would be easily get loans. Right? Shui Ta says, I dare say, but how is someone like Shen Teh to get credit? So he says that it is easy for him to get the loan, but how would Shen Teh get it? Right. The policeman says, are you staying here then? Shui Ta, no, and I shall not be able to come again. I could only give her hand because I was passing through. I just saved her from the worst. Obviously, he saved her from the worst. So the policeman says that we will soon find out who we can rely on as a friend of law and order. The police says that Shui Ta is a person who can be easily believed in. Shui Ta bitterly says, to save this little shop, officer, which my cousin regards as a gift of the gods, I am prepared to go to the utmost limits of the law. So he is telling the policeman that he is willing to take any step in order to save the shop, which is considered a gift by the gods to Shen Teh. Okay, so Mr. Shui Ta, Shen Teh, let's face it, living by selling herself to men. But you have got to understand Mr.'s point of view. So the policeman is being rational, right? So Shen Teh lived by selling herself to men, and it is not a worthy profession according to the society, right? So they cannot believe her. So it is not respectable. Why not? Number one, as he says, you cannot earn your living by love, or it becomes immoral earnings. So if you put love at stake, right, if you earn by loving, or you are living by selling your love, then you are doing immoral things. So an immoral person cannot be believed. So Mrs. Mitsu has a point. Respectability means not with the man who can buy, but the man who loves. So in order to get respectability in this society, you should be with a person, you should be with a man who is not paying, but the man who loves. Okay, so the man who is paying for you will be taking advantage of you, but the man who will be loving you will bring you respectability in the society. Number 3, as said by the policeman, is it must not be for a handful of rice, but for love. So the respectability should be earned not for the handful of rice, but for love. Everything that should be done should not be for the materialistic things, but for love itself. So ठीक है, it sees clearly the social point of view. It is the point of view of the society. For women, but for the women, the stakes of living is high. Okay, a man will never be questioned if he goes to a prostitute, right? But a woman would be always questioned. Her respectability will always be questioned if she sells her body. So the coin is not. You should always see both ends of the coin, right? But it is not done. The women, the so-called weaker section of the society who are subjugated always, are here to be facing the question of respectability, facing the questions. Okay, so for women, it is the stakes of living are very high. They have to earn to sustain their life. Okay, along with it, they need to earn it in a respectful way, else they will be questioned. But the women who are selling to those men's respectability will never be questioned in the society. Think about it. So he ends by saying that all you need to do is find a husband for her. So the ultimate solution is to find Shen Teh, a husband, who will be who will give her social position, who will give her a social status, who will give her a position of respectability. Okay, and which will help her to be a respectable person, and it will elevate her social status. Understood? That's why this is needed. This marriage is needed. That is being suggested. Enter a little woman. The old woman enters. I want a good cheap cigar for my husband. Tomorrow is our 40th wedding anniversary. So this woman and the man, this old woman and the old man runs a shop over there. Shui Ta politely says that 40 years and still something to celebrate. Wow. Right. So this is not clearly seen. This is a contrasting picture that a person has to sell oneself to live, and on the other hand, these people, this old woman and the old man, are will be celebrating their 40th wedding anniversary. Right. So Shui Ta, the old woman, as far as our means allow, that's our carpet shop over there. I hope we are going to be good neighbors. So they are the carpet sellers. Okay, Shui Ta spreads over the boxes before her. Two very familiar words, I am afraid. The policeman, Mr. Shui Ta, what we need is capital, so I suggest a marriage. So for the woman to get the capital, she needs to marry in order to save the shop. Unless she won't be able to get to save the shop if she does not marry. Okay, so the policeman, you have got to pay 6 months rent and everything. The policeman says, she's a good match. She owns a small and promising business. To the old man, what do you think? The old man, doubtful. Well, policeman, an advertisement in the personal column. The old man, reluctantly. If the old lady agrees, the policeman, I will draft it out for you. So the policeman says that the advertisement will be put up, and that would be helpful for putting up an advertisement for a husband for Shen Teh. He hastens to pull out the notebook. Shui Ta slowly, it is not a bad idea. What respectable gentleman, small capital, widow or considered, desires marriage into progressive tobacconist, and then all add with charming, attractive brunette. How's that? Shui Ta, you don't feel that's overstating? The old man kindly says, certainly not. I have seen her. The policeman tears the page out of the notebook and hands it to Shui Ta. Okay, so the end is here, the last dialogue. With horror, I begin to realize how much luck one needs to avoid being crushed. Underline. Okay, so what brilliant ideas. What faithful friends. To the policeman, thus for all my decisiveness I was at my wits' end over the rent. So Shui Ta says that he was not able to find out any way to pay the rent, but such brilliant ideas were put forward before him by the policeman. But what we see here is that there is a subtle note of portrayal of the society, the conditions of the society, where it shows that for a woman to survive in this society, she needs luck. She needs to be a respectable woman. I really begin to see a way out. He sees a way out. Truth of the society that one needs to be lucky in order to save himself from being crushed by the wheels of the society's requirements or demands. Okay, so in order to survive in this society, you have to be not only tactful, not only be shrewd, but also have to have your luck and have to have your chances right in order to survive. Right. So in this scene we get that goodness alone is not safe. It needs the protection of the shrewdness and luck in order to be safe in this society. That's why the entry of Shui Ta is in order to save her from the pangs, from the problems of the society that was imposed on her, imposed on Shen Teh. Okay, so Shui Ta, the Shui Ta's disguise is taken by Shen Teh in order to save herself only. Okay, so we will continue in the next class. Scene 3 with continue scene 3 in next class. Thank you.